Hello, welcome to day 5 of Vlogmas on this channel.
Hello, today is a very bookish video. If you're not familiar, the phrase TBR stands for to be read, and generally people use it to refer to the amount of books they have in their collection that are unread, normally physical books that they haven't read. But it can also be used to refer to a list of books people can make each month to decide what books they're going to read. I don't know if I've explained that very well. I never used to make TBRs because I have this TBR jar and I used to just pick out what I was reading next out of that jar. But then I realised I wasn't using my subscription services very reliably, so I pay for Audible and Kindle Unlimited, and I have 2 book subscription boxes, and I wanted to make sure I was prioritising those because obviously I'm spending money on them. So I started what I call a functional TBR, which is not to imply that anyone else's TBR isn't functional, it's just the best word I could think of that describes the way that I make my lists. So the way I make up my TBR list is that I start with my book club pick, and I will explain more about the book club in a moment. I then pick 2 Kindle Unlimited titles, 2 Audible titles. I have my Illumicrate subscription, which is generally a fantasy based book, but I don't know if it's meant to be specifically a fantasy subscription. And then my Afterlight subscription, which is a subsidiary of Illumicrate that includes only romance books in the box. And then last category I have is new releases, so any book that I've gone to the effort of pre-ordering, I want to make the time to prioritise it straight away. So those are the 8 titles that make up the list. As of next year, I want to add 2 more, which will be 2 books from my 24 and 2024 list. So my TBR will be 10 books long. Have I ever read 10 books in a month? Only in the month that I went on my 2-week honeymoon, where I did nothing but read for 2 weeks. So will I likely read every book on my list? No, but we love setting goals, so we're going to do it anyway. That was a really long-winded way of saying here's the books that I'm going to try and read in December, starting with the book club book. So my book club, I call it the Rocket Book Club, and it's essentially based on the fact that when me and my husband got married, rather than having a gift list or a registry, we asked our guests to gift us a copy of their favourite book, to make a little library of our favourite people's favourite books. And then in an endeavour to read them all, because we received nearly 100 books, I set up, as much as you can set up a book club, decided that we would take it in turns to pick one a month and just read the books. So the book for book club this month is one that I've picked for 2 reasons. One, because the friend that gave it to us at the wedding, there's 3 of us in our little friendship group, me and 2 other girls, and I've already read the book from my friend Nicola, and I feel like I need to complete the set by reading the book that Stephanie got for me too. So the book that Stephanie gave me was My Policeman by Bethan Roberts, which leads me to part 2 of why I picked this book. It's got Harry Styles on the cover. I try not to be too fussy in why or how I choose my book club books, because I feel like if I pick the ones in the collection that I'm most excited about, I'm going to end up with a bunch of books that I'm not excited about reading. And it's not because I don't think they'll be good or that I don't trust the opinions of the friends and family that gave them to us. It's just because it's not a genre or a concept that I'm familiar with or have enjoyed before. So I really am trying to pick them in the most sporadic way. So this month is My Policeman by Bethan Roberts. There we go, so that's where we're starting. Next up, the books I want to read on Kindle Unlimited are ones that I have been trying to make myself read for approximately 3 or 4 months now. It all started with A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St Clair, which is the first book in the Hades and Persephone trilogy that she wrote. And the thing with this series is it's a little bit complicated, and I lose precious years of my life every time I explain it. The way that this series works is that there is a trilogy told from Persephone's perspective, and there is a trilogy from Hades' perspective. The way that you're meant to read them is you're meant to read book 1, A Touch of Darkness, which is Persephone's perspective, and then read A Game of Fate by... they're all by Scarlett St Clair, I don't know why I said by, which is from Hades perspective, and you're meant to alternate Persephone book 1, Hades book 1, Persephone book 2, Hades book 2, etc. Except I didn't find out that that was the reading order until after I'd already started Persephone book 2. So what I did was I read A Touch of Darkness, then A Touch of Malice? No, A Touch of something else, and A Touch of something else. Oh, the titles of this series confuses me. I have my phone right here. Let's just look it up. A Touch of Ruin, there it is. So I read A Touch of Darkness, then I read A Touch of Ruin, and then I read A Touch of Malice. And then I wanted to go back and read the Hades trilogy because there is a 7th novel coming out next year called A Touch of Chaos, which is dual perspective, so it's Persephone and Hades in one book, which is concluding the whole series, I think. So it'll be the 7th book that takes the 2 trilogies and brings them together. I read all of the Persephone side. I have pre-ordered A Touch of Chaos, so that's gonna, I think that comes out in March. That's ready. But before A Touch of Chaos comes out, I need to finish reading the Hades trilogy. And I read book 1, which is A Game of Fate, and the other 2 books, which are A Game of Retribution and A Game of Gods, I believe, have been on my TBR for about 3 months now. But they've been on my TBR for so long that I am super determined to finish them before 2024. So those are my 2 Kindle Unlimited picks for this month, and by God, I am determined to actually read them. On Audible this month, I've already started reading Wings of Ebony by J.L. It's a book that I don't actually remember how it ended up in my Audible collection. There's every chance that I heard about it on TikTok once, I thought, oh, that's good, then added it to my Storygraph TBR, and then when I had a spare credit, I was like, okay, I'll get that one. Or it might be one that I randomly found on Audible that was included in the Audible Plus package, and I downloaded it. But I have no recollection, and now that I'm listening to it, I'm like, I'm not sure why I downloaded this, because it's not very me at all, but I have already started reading that one and I'm hoping to get through it relatively quickly, so that's a bonus. And the second book I want to read on Audible this month is Bloodmarked by Tracy Deonn, which is the sequel to Legendborn, which I read in November, which I finished reading in November, and that's one that I've used an Audible credit on, and I also have a physical edition, so I'm looking forward to co-reading. I don't know why I'm doing this with my hands, but I'm looking forward to co-reading that one. So that brings us up to 5. Then we get on to my subscription boxes. The way Illumicrate and Afterlight work is that the month's book doesn't get delivered until right at the end of the month. So both of these are November subscription books, but I only received them in like the last week of November, so there was no way I was going to read them in November. So I put them on my December TBR. And the Illumicrate book for this month is Starling House by Alex E. Harrow. It has this beautiful, it's like a, now's not the time to go out of focus. It's got this like transparent cover. I'm trying to show it. You see that the design is like see-through, because then it kind of enhances the design that's on the hardcover. It's really cool, and the sprayed edges are stunning. Absolutely obsessed with them. I'm also obsessed with the fact that the book looks relatively thin, so hopefully I'll be able to read it relatively quickly. And then the Afterlight book for November is an LGBTQ plus contemporary romance that's set at Christmas, so it's perfect. I'm so excited to read this one. It's about a trans man and rekindling a love from his teenage years, which I'm really excited about, because I don't think I've read any books with a trans main character before, which is really bad actually now that I think about it. So I'm excited that this is going to be my first one. I haven't even said the title. It's called Second Chances in... No one asked you. It's called Second Chances in Newport Stephen by TJ Alexander. Again, this special edition from Afterlight has this stunning cover, this beautiful artwork on the back that I'm obsessed with, and these like neon flamingos and palm trees on the sprayed edges, which I think are really, really cute. And again, it's a skinny one, so hopefully I'll be able to read it quickly. And then the last book to make up the 8 books on my TBR is the new release that I have pre-ordered, and it's coming out on December 7th, so I don't have it in my hands yet. But the new release that I'm super duper excited for that comes out in December is Heartstopper by No, it's Heartstopper Volume 5 by Alice Oseman. If you're not familiar with the Heartstopper series, it's a graphic novel series about two teenagers called Nick and Charlie just figuring out life as teenagers and falling in love, and they're just the sweetest. I love them so much. I'm so excited for this book, and I'm really hoping that I'm just going to be able to binge it in one sitting. I need to make sure I don't make any plans for that day. So those are the 8 books that are on my TBR for this month. But tomorrow, the video that I'm posting tomorrow is a little vlog and a haul from a shopping trip that I went on payday, where I kind of lost my mind a little bit, and I bought a lot of books, and lots of them were festive, and obviously I want to read the festive books in December. So how I'm going to balance reading those with reading my TBR and with reading the 10 books that I said I wanted to read before the end of 2023 and everything else, I really don't know. Do I have anything insightful to say to end this video? Not particularly. If you are the kind of person who sets a TBR for the month, let me know what it is. I really like talking about books. I don't know if I've made that clear. Let's end it there. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for another day of Vlogmas. Bye!